Hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there to my channel, the Twin Flame Union. This channeling is a very special channeling because this channeling is about food, and I have been delaying this channeling since a long time because I, being this human being, I thought that my human side was kicking in at that time, and I thought that maybe it's not so important. Maybe all the other channelings are important. Maybe they would help in the union. Maybe this would not. But now I'm seeing that there is a growing number of people who, not growing actually. They are obviously less in number, but they are jumping about too much despite not knowing much about the type of food you should eat in the twin flame journey, in the ascension journey. And this food is not something that I am only channeling about or the masters are asking me to talk about, but this has been here for 10,000 years. More than that, even when man did not know about scriptures, this knowledge that I'm going to be sharing in this channeling, it is so deep, it is so vast, and you can find it in ancient scriptures and ancient books. And not only I'm going to be channeling this, but in my upcoming book there will be a specific chapter dedicated to this particular research. And twin flame journey for the divine feminines is based on research, it's based on intuition, because our journey is about increasing our spiritual connection with God so that all these divinely guided thoughts come to us, and not the reptilian ET related thoughts or thoughts which are programmed by them in the media, in the newspaper, in all these places that only put the humanity down, only put it down to lower places, and they make them more evil. So this journey is about creating purity in the whole planet, and what we give to the gut is very important, because gut is where we derive our intuition powers from. And one of the most important organ for this body is the gut, not the brain. I think I have said this in another channeling session also, but this channeling session will be completely dedicated to this, though I have not relayed it when it was told to me. I did relay it in another channel of mine, and yes, I did get many people watched it, even though I never market or advertise my work, or I never pay for any views. But many people got connected to me globally, and they all spoke to me, communicated with me. So I kind of thought that maybe this is the right way to do it. But now I've been told that your twin flame community is full of spiritual people, full of advanced people, and they must know about what they should eat and they should not eat so that they ascend faster in this journey. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So how this channeling starts is that many years ago, thousands and thousands of years ago, the Vedas were written. One of the Veda was Ayurveda. And in Ayurveda, all of the cures are mentioned for any disease. However, we must also know that all diseases are creation of our mind. Whatever we think, chronicle thought patterns create chronicle diseases. All long-term and short-term diseases are a result of the way we think. Our thoughts are the creator of our diseases, and at the same time, they're also the creator of the medicine. Body is the medicine. Body can create all the medicine. And how it creates the medicine? When you think that you will get better, nothing can harm you, you are healthy, you are a natural being, automatically, somehow, somewhere or the other, the right treatment would be given to you. In chronological order, the four Vedas are the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samved and Atharva Veda. Yajur Veda is Ayurveda. And also the fifth Veda is considered to be Mahabharata, the epic. Why it is considered to be a Veda is because through the storytelling, by listening to the story, we can know what are the vices of human mind, and we must stay away from them. And what are the good things? What are the spiritual medicines? What is the real spirituality for the human mind, for human lifestyle? We know that from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter, when it comes, the Gita Sar, or the whole of Gita, we can read and we can find out, and we can watch it also. If you guys want to read, you can read Mahabharata, the epic, or you can read only the Srimad Bhagavad Gita part, which is also an extensive study. Now, what I have been told is that the meditation that people do is very important tool. But the meditation for householders, which is called Karma Yoga, it can happen Now, Vedas are older than Ramayana also. Ramayana is the epic that I have spoken about in many channelings. I have spoken about Ram and Sita. Vedas happened before that, and the Puranas, I think, happened even before that. Now, why Vedas came into the universe when the universe came into in existence, and the first cycle itself is the Satyug, the golden age. And the Ramayana happened in Treta Yuga, which came after the Satyug. Now, as per the Vedas say that supreme god is Shiva and Shakti. So when your energies are in balance, that's when your Shiva and Shakti energies are in balance. Okay. But when Parvati, who's the wife of Shiva, when she asked him that, the whole world praise you. The whole world says Om Namah Shivaya. The whole world says Shiva, 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 Shiva. But you still sit in meditation. So this is the reason why I talk about inner work. Inner work is a lifelong process. It's a part of the lifestyle. After a while, you will realize that inner work will become a part of your lifestyle. And this is what is amazing, because then you will not do inner work because you have to come into empowerment or because you are suffering and now you want to feel better. No, then you will realize that more inner work I do, the better my life becomes. The more inner work I do, the more independent I become. The more inner work I do, the more empowered I become. The more inner work I do, the Shiva Shakti energies in me are in balance. Both Shiva is the divine, the divine father, divine masculine, and Shakti is the divine feminine. So when Parvati asked Shiva, like, whose name do you chant when you meditate? Whose name do you take? What is the mantra? And then he says, my mantra is Ram. Ram. So Ram is the sound of the solar plexus also. Now all of this information, I don't think you would get these type of channelings anywhere else. No other channeler would do this channeling. And I myself had to work on myself a lot. I had to do a lot of inner work to be able to reach to this point where I don't question my channelings, I don't question what I receive. I just want to be the medium for the work I am doing here. And then also, because I was also a questioner, I always, since childhood, always questioned my gurus, why I should do this, why is this important, everything. And then I was put into the path, be it through the book that I wrote earlier and the books that I'm writing now, be it through all my inner work. From my experience, I have learned all these things. I'm not saying that, okay, you should chant Ram or Sita are divine masculine or feminine, or Shiva Shakti are divine masculine and feminine in union. I'm not saying this just because I see it somewhere. It's because I experienced it in my journey. I derived that peace, I derived that independence, I derived that empowerment. And then without experience, there's no point talking about anything. It becomes very shallow and very hollow. And for a person who's walking on the path of truth, cannot make false statements. It's just not possible. It's not, your body, your mouth, your tongue, your throat, your energy doesn't allow you to do so. I don't know about others, but this is how it works with me. And no one has ever been able to make me do something. Like for a lot of years, people tried that they should make me do this, make me do that. I did not do anything. I only did what I felt like doing, what came from my heart and my soul. And in that path, I suffered a lot also. I also learned via suffering and pain. But personally, I think that pain is a teacher. Pain is a wonderful teacher. It is the best teacher on this planet. So we should never resist pain. We should face fear. The moment you face fear, fear will lose its power. You don't have to fight against fear. You don't have to flight against fear. You just have to face the fear. That's it. It will automatically show you the real face of fear. Then you will know, okay, so this is fear. Oh, I did not even know that. So Shiva is the supreme being and Shiva is the supreme Purush. So what is Purush? Purush is the male. And what is Prakriti? Prakriti is the female. And Prakriti is also another name of nature. Nature in English in Hindi is called Prakriti. Whatever your divine nature is, that is your Prakriti. So Purush and Prakriti, when they come together, the divine male and the divine feminine, when it comes together, then the Shiva Shakti, that is resolved. Then the balance has been created. And definitely it is the Prakriti which is powerful in this regard. When the Prakriti gets into the inner work mode, then the Purush has to become balanced. There's no other way out. It's very interesting to know that the mention of Ram came not in the Vedas, it came much later. But Sita's name as a character is in Ramayana, who's so flawless, which is also mentioned in the Upanishads, and one of the Upanishad is mentioned, it's named after her. So there are 13 ancient texts which are called the principal Upanishads. So there are the Puranas, there are the Upanishads, and then there are the Vedas. These are the main texts. These are the books that used to be taught in the Gurukuls. Before the Britishers came to India, they had no idea why India or Indian subcontinent, which included Nepal, Sri Lanka, and all of these countries which are now Pakistan, these are all Indian subcontinent, all the way up, wherever you could see that wherever there was land, it was all Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent was very big. The demarcation was obviously China, but Indian subcontinent back then was huge. And all these divisions, they were all made after, little bit before and after the British came in. Even Sri Lanka, which was under Ravan, after the fight with Ravan, Sri Lanka was won over by Ram, but it was Ram's decision to put Vibhishan, who was brother of Ravan, to manage Sri Lanka. But it's all Indian subcontinent. And when they came here, the British, when they came here, it's not that they came first to India. They went and colonized America. There was Vietnam wars. There was everywhere they went, everywhere. Everywhere they caused destruction, colonization. They took away the natural resources of all places. Even the Native Americans, they knew how to live with nature. They were wonderful people. They knew how to coordinate with nature, how to use the herbal medicines, how to use the natural remedies. They knew that. But the Britishers went there and they colonized and they ruined everything. But America got freedom much before. Then they came to India. They colonized India. When they came to India, they were completely mind blown. Completely mind blown. There was not one beggar in India. They traveled the whole of the country from top to bottom. They did not find a single beggar. They did not find any woman who was, all women and men used to wear gold ornaments. They had so much gold, and yet they did not care about the money. Even when they were wearing the gold, it was because from the perspective that gold is a very pure metal. Gold is one metal which is used in all the spaceships that are sent out of the planet's orbit, because that is the only metal which can be used for making spaceships. That is why Earth is so important, because gold is found on Earth in good amount. But they were very shocked to see that how these people are so abundant. So they did long research in India. They figured out that, okay, they have certain books called the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Puranas. So they said, how do we stop this education? They meditate even when they are born. The first thing they learn is meditation. They go into dhyan, they go into focused attention. How are we going to, defeat these people? How are we going to colonize these people? They are not greedy for money. They are not greedy for anything. We must do something. We must break their system in such a way that they get totally programmed and they are made to believe that what we bring over here is the superior knowledge and what they have is the inferior knowledge. They are more about the materialistic things. The Britishers were about the materialistic things and the Indians were about spirituality. Even the Native Americans were about spirituality. They were more about the spirit. Always, all their sciences were connected to the spirit science, and that's why they were also called Indians, Red Indians, if you know that. So this is a very interesting channeling, and I'm very thankful to the universal domain, to the masters who are making me do this channeling. And today I'm forced to do this channeling. I have no other option but to do this channeling, because I see there is a lot of misknowledge, and based on that misknowledge, people have developed a lot of arrogance and they have started doing a lot of misconduct, and they don't even know anything. What they know, what they call science, is not even science. It's like half knowledge of science, or half knowledge of this, or half knowledge of that. Half knowledge is always a dangerous thing. That's why they say you should either get full knowledge, otherwise you should not. So what is the worst problem of this ascension journey? What people don't know is what they eat, what they put into their body. Processed food is what I'm being told. Though this information is there, it's readily available, but how many of us know, how many of us follow? not many. So processed food is one of the weapons that they created. What the reptilian aliens, the reptilian ETs that control, or they want the complete control of planet Earth, they created processed food. In fact, they have created lethargy by creating technology, useless technology for human beings that makes them dependent, completely addicted to these things. Like, people are so addicted to likes. They want likes on social media all the time. If I get 100 likes, 200 likes, 1000 likes, I am so amazing. If I have these many followers, I am so amazing. And there is no other way. Like, if you want to connect with me, the labels they have given is followers. They can have other names also. They can give other names also. Instead of followers or fans, but they say the word fans and followers, it makes the person feel like. That's why I prefer YouTube more than Facebook. I prefer YouTube because in YouTube you don't have this system of followers and this and that. It's people who want to view your channel, they can subscribe to you, they are your subscribers, they are more like family and friends, well-wishers. But when you use the word fans, it makes you feel like your ego gets like completely boosted. Oh, I have fans, I'm like a god, I'm being worshipped. And it's good to respect the person who's giving you knowledge, but the real person that you should respect and the real person you should pay homage to, you should be thankful to, is God and God alone. We all are just messengers. We are just servants of God. I am just a servant, nothing more. My title is of a servant and I'm very happy with this title. I am not a human being servant. I'm not the servant of the other humans I see. But yes, I am the servant of my source. My source is my servant and they can make me do all the work that I am doing. Without their love, without their grace, I am nothing. Okay? I know some of you don't like it when I say this, but this is the journey. In Taoism, the journey is to be nothing. That is the study, to be nothing. To be nothing and to know nothing. And to be nothing and to know nothing, you have to know so much. You have to do so much work. That is the contradiction, but it's a good contradiction. So now what happened is, in the dark ages, the energy of the negative entities was very strong. And they thought that, we must continue this. In the dark ages, they were obviously successful. The average human lifespan was only 25 to 30 years. They were like, yeah, we have done it. People were always living in fears. They had no knowledge about technology. But the dark ages started ending. They had to end. And by 2000, it completely ended, the dark ages. But they still want the control. They want the control to go for as long as they can sustain it, for as long. So they decided that we have to do many things. Now we have to make them eat processed food. We have to give them stale food. We have to give them stale food so that they get the stale energy in their gut. We have to make them eat meat. They should eat meat. If they eat meat, the evil inside them stays alive. And look at the meat that people eat. Poor cows, poor buffaloes, poor pigs, sheep. Do we even need to eat all this? Is my question. Do we even need to? So I asked this question to Universal Domain. Tell me more about food. So they said, and then I received this very nice story from the time of Buddha. And guys, this channeling session will also be in part series. So keep your notebooks ready. Keep your notepads or your pencils, whatever ready. Anything that you feel is good information, it will help you. You please note it down. This channeling will not complete, and I don't think it can complete in this one session. None of the channelings actually do because I don't make long videos which are 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long. Some people do that because I have to do other work also. I have to tend to my mission work also. My mission work is so important. So I have to keep taking breaks in between and then I keep coming back and doing it. So this is the way it will roll, and it has been rolling like this. So, and I have to tell you this because I know sometimes you reach to a very crucial point and you're like, oh, the channeling has ended. Now we have to wait for it. So, we are all here for mission work. And though this is also a mission, but there are other earthly missions that we have to do, earthly work we have to do, the physical work. Sometimes being in meditation, doing inner work is so important also. In fact, it's a part of the routine, and you all would know, all of you who have advanced, all of you who are in the final stages, and all of you, some of you who are also taking classes from me, coaching and healings from me, you all know that this is more important. So my students do understand it. We manage timing like that. We are living in different countries, but we are still connected. This is called soul connection. And this is what you and your divine masculine should also build on. More than your physical connection, you should build on the soul connections. Because there are so many things that happen in the spiritual world. You have astral traveling. I spoke about astral traveling in one of my channeling sessions about Sita and Ram. Sita and Ram did meet one another astrally once when it became very important. And Radha and Krishna were known to connect astrally. They were divine lovers, and they all came in different ages. They came in Treta Yug, they came in the Dwapar Yug. Why? Because this was important for people to know that the gods are equally willing to suffer with you. They come in reincarnations, they take avatars, which is spelled as avatar in English, but it's actually Hindi word is avatar. So they take these avatars, they come to planet Earth, and they suffer equally. Or sometimes even more. What Radha Krishna suffered, what Ram Sita suffered, what Shiva Shakti suffered, it's not possible for everyone to follow that journey. It's very full of pain, but yet they learn to smile. So coming back to food, so processed food is what they created to sustain the dark ages for as long as they can. Because you eat stale food, your gut gets stale energy, and it will become a big problem for you, because it will make you lazy, it will make you lethargic, it will make you negative. And then the meat of the dead people, that is also processed. So first of all, the meat is not even fresh. It's not like, something happened to the animal. So I will tell you the Buddha story and what I learned when I was a young girl, when I was a child living with cattle. I have lived with cattle also. So what I learned over there and what Buddha story is about food, I will come to that in part 2 of the channeling. And I will catch you soon. Thank you so much for being here with me. Much love, one love, and peace out.